Okay, recording this video Sunday 24th of March 2013. Hope you're having a good weekend. Well, it seems like the only news story out there is Cyprus. Huge amount, it's almost verging on hysteria. All the little rumours kind of coming out, will they, won't they, kind of make a deal. Anywhere between 2 and 40% confiscation of assets, of bank accounts there. Who knows if they're going to reach a resolution on Sunday. It seems like one of those things that is going to drag out. We've seen the Europeans kind of drag out these things before, and just, as time wears on, it just gets worse and worse, and the state of the banking system will just lead to a collapse of the banking system in Cyprus. Incredibly sad, just totally mismanaged in my opinion. But whether we get some kind of resolution soon, I've no idea. On Friday the market was a little bit jittery. It seemed like every little rumor that kind of came out would drive the market up and down and up and down, and I think we're going to be looking at a similar type situation early next week or during next week. So where are we at? Just look at the Emini charts and then a couple of the FX charts. In terms of the highest time frame, 40,500 tip bar chart. So Thursday I said, we're coming into this support area on the 40,500 tip bar chart. It's kind of come in and it actually held. So we had a little bit of a drive down in the overnight session, Thursday into Friday. But you can see we've had our exhaustion selling, bullish divergence, kind of coming with the blue professional bars. First kind of picking it up and picking it up on the down move here. It held and we kind of came back up through the initial little bit of a fright, and then we kind of come back up. So trend moves, then move into some cyclical activity. I mean, the cyclical activity shouldn't last forever. We have seen it last kind of quite a long time, and previously this is going back after this last end of trend. You can see we had a whole bunch of cyclical activity. I don't know, we're back up at the top of the channel, so, and we're going to print a resistance kind of soon. So does that mean we're going to break up into an uptrend? We've got this behind us, bullish divergence and blue professional bars at the lows. They didn't come in at the highs to take profits. And then on the oscillators, the trend oscillators, we had a small little losing trade here, but we've got the start of another one of these kind of clusters of buy signals here, and all of these kind of laterally have worked out. So we're oversold down here. Got a ways to travel in terms of breaking up, and if the Friday's out of certainly we've got capital flight happening out of Japan, the UK and Europe, and if they kind of get fright, that will kind of continue, and that's good for equities and bonds. Let me just show you the bonds chart quickly. It's possible that here's the 30-year bond chart on the daily chart, and so we kind of bounce quite nicely here from this little overshoot, and it looks like we're just itching to break out here. The money can flow into equities and bonds at the same time. They can both kind of go up, and then one is a preferred asset, and the money kind of takes profits out of equities and kind of flows more into bonds. But we've not seen that quite yet. So just on the equities chart, my guess is it's going to continue higher. We're going to kind of break through the 50s into the 60s. So kind of wait and see. The average trade size over the last 4 days has been incredibly small and getting smaller by the day. So kind of looking at that chart. And what we're seeing in the currencies is a little bit of a bounce back into risk. The way I think about this, we definitely had kind of breaks into downtrends. Let me just show you the euro chart first. So in the euro, we're in a downtrend because we're through support, and that's true on all these kind of risk-on currencies. We're through supports on most of these, but there will be a point where we get a little bit of a bounce back, and then continuation of the trend on the way down. It's not kind of all going to be straight sailing, and what we found is a little bit of bullish support here, bullish divergence, and we're having a little bit of a bounce back up in the euro. Same thing, Japanese yen. We've had exhaustion selling on a left shoulder. Bullish divergence comes in on the zero line, so we're waiting for the flush pattern. Flush pattern comes in with a bunch of Rambo patterns over the last couple of weeks. Amateur down bars here, and we're having a bounce back up. We're having a bounce until we get cyclical resistance kind of coming in, then we get continuation of the downtrend on the yen. Dollar index is going to be the reverse of that, so we've temporarily kind of found a little bit of a left shoulder here. Bearish divergence coming in, and we've had, Friday was a fairly weak day as we kind of came back down, but again the rally will resume once we got these cyclical crosses kind of come and we find support and rally back. Canadian dollar. So the commodity currencies, the Aussie and the Canadian, are the strongest of the lot. We're in downtrends because we're breaking the support levels here, and the resistance levels are printing quickly and being followed through. So because we keep on falling through supports here, that just means that the market is weak, and so we've had a weak bounce back up. Cyclical resistance will come in this week most likely and will roll over. The Aussie dollar, that's bounced back up, has been the strongest, and again this is kind of capital flight. The Aussie dollar is in the Aussie economy, or the Aussie investment opportunities are kind of brighter than elsewhere. So we've got government debt is very low in Australia, and the government bonds are paying a little bit of a premium compared to elsewhere. Same with kind of the banks. The banks are better off. I know we've got a totally totally overbought type property market, but it hasn't cracked, and so the banks are fairly strong. So it's cracked up a little bit further than I'd expected. I thought we'd roll over, support becomes resistance at these amateur up bars, but we didn't break the lows of these. We kept on going up. And then the pound's still in a downtrend. We've had exhaustion selling on a left shoulder, bullish divergence, and Rambo patterns here. Bounced off there, and so we're coming into this resistance level that will print at some point. So during this week, that's what's kind of going on. Now, why is it kind of held here? Well, it's held here because of the support coming on the weekly charts. So we're in downtrends because we've broken supports, okay? Trend trumps cycle. But we're going to find some kind of support when we run into supports on next highest time frame. So I still believe we're in downtrends on these charts. They need to be resolved with pullback to end of trend moves and so on, and proper exhaustion selling on left shoulders. For me, this is just getting the move going. This is just showing the strength of the selling through this move here. This isn't enough to end the move as a kind of climactic selling, but we just found a little bit of support and we're bouncing from there, and we will resume the downtrends. And the reason we found support is on the weekly charts. So we've got little supports kind of printed here. So Canadian dollar, you can see weekly supports kind of come in. Aussie dollar, weekly supports kind of come in. British pound, same thing, weekly supports just kind of come in. Japanese yen, not a weekly support, but it was a pro signal exit kind of down here. Dollar index, we're coming up to resistance being printed here, and then euro support potentially printed this week on euro. So these trend trumps cycle, so these downtrends are still in place, but we're just having a little bit of a counter trend rally, so we're kind of rallying up in these risk on charts. In terms of the different markets, well, I still think the bonds are strong. We're just waiting to break out here. The equities are still strong. The only thing that kind of concerns me is the low average trade size over the last 4 days. But as soon as we've got possibly we could have this resistance print on Monday's activity on the 40,500 tip bar chart with a blue professional bar at the highs, and we kind of cracked the lows of that. We're heading back down to the bottom of the channel, but at the moment that hasn't come in. We've got this bullish divergence kind of behind us and blue professional bars below us. So at the moment that's kind of suggesting we'll kind of break a little bit higher. So there we go. Friday's trade for me, problematic. My internet connection just went nutso from Thursday night onwards, and it was horrible. I had to reload all my charts. I had to restart TradeStation, put in the latest version of TradeStation, delete my cache, do all of that stuff, which is just horrible stuff. I don't mind doing that on weekends, but during the trading week it's really, really bad. Kind of put me off my game a little bit, and so I was 7 trades and break even into this market before I got one kind of decent trade that went my way long towards the end of the day at 48.50 for 2.5 points. Took it out at 51. And I think it was through this move here based on these Rambo patterns. We had exhaustion buying on a end of trend, so then you're kind of waiting for the second cyclical turn after end of trend. We had flush pattern kind of come in here, blue professional bars, started to trend back down, so I was starting to look for short trades kind of in this area, but they just weren't working out, just never went anywhere. It was kind of within the window. We were kind of around 11 a.m. In the morning, potential reversal of trend, but they just refused to break, so the support Rambo patterns kind of come in here. We break back up, and because we haven't had a change of trend, we just get a continuation of this uptrend with a messy close into this kind of exhaustion buying huge reading here, blue professional bars. But it's the end of the week. Professionals kind of taking profit and so on, maybe gaping it up a little bit in order to get out there at decent numbers, but kind of close right on the highs. So I'm not going to attach any of those day trades on. None of them were worth seeing in any detail. But like I said, internet problems kind of put me off my game, and then all the news announcements or rumors coming out of Cyprus just seemed to jerk the market around and kind of was not fun trading. So that's the way it goes. Head down. Trade a full week next week. Kind of coming into Easter, so it'll be interesting to see. And keep watching the news out of Cyprus. It's fascinating. It's sad as well. These people are going to get whacked. And let's see kind of how it kind of resolves itself, if it does, during the next week.